Dr. Ken Ashigbey, thank you for your patience, but I really need the rest of the time to talk about the media too. They are suffering. But from the way I look at it, this matter would have required like an entire show to deal with every bit of it. And Doc, see this. Even for Joy to be the first to begin the traditional media discussion of this in this town, it was not an easy thing because there's a lot that goes on in the underbelly of these mining things, where there's a lot of corruption and wrongdoing. But sometimes you get the facts, but you may not have documents to back the things that are being said. And you go on air, people will sue you. And in the courtroom is the documents that will speak, without which you may be in trouble. So even this, there had to be a lot of discussion and weighing what to publish, what not to publish, until you heard the first report. We didn't mention any name, even including the dead. There's legal authority that allows that once things are under investigation by the police, there will not be defamation to a large extent. But it's persuasive authority. You don't know what the court may think here in Ghana when something happens. What do you make of this report and the reactions that you have heard so far because of your experience?
Well, thank you very much, Samson. And it is very, the point you make, very, very interesting. The report is not surprising, but it is shocking. You know, a lot of the things that have been said in the report are things that, you know, we've known about. And as you say, in all of these conversations, evidence is the name of the game, you know. So by the ethics of even, you know, journalism, you would want to ensure that you have, you know, the evidence to be able to prove the things you're going to say. And then also, the caveat is also that people are innocent till proven guilty. And so, but, you know, if you look at, and I hear everything about the inconsistencies, about the report, some of the things that are in it, some of the things that are not in it. You know, Prof does not even mention the fact that at some point he himself, his son was, you know, fingered as being engaged in the illegality and all of that. But, you know, for this to have been put, this report, first when Prof made those assertions, and knowing who Prof was, and knowing the fact that he was a cabinet member responsible for this particular task, when he made those points on GTV, it just sank you a bit deeper because of our experiences and all the informations that you have and where we are going to. And so for me, I think this is a point where all of us as a country, we need to wake up and say, this cannot continue. You know, because Samson, we know these things. You mentioned the issues of Heritage Imperial. Heritage Imperial was even in court. And, you know, by their court documents, they admitted to an illegality that they were involved in, you know, in mining. When we know that the EPA had only given them, though they had a license, they did not have, all they had from the EPA was an exploratory permit. You know, so that definitely the activity they were taking there was an illegality. They were in court suing Erastus, you know. So the things that Prof mentions, some of the things that Prof mentions are things that already were out in the public domain, or things that as media were engaging and we knew about and we wanted some evidence on it. You know, foundational to this was the whole governance of it. And you remember that
Heritage Imperial, is that the same company that the Attorney General went to court to quash a ruling that stopped government from paying $15.3 million?
That is it. It's the same company that, you know, Gabi then was representing and called, you know, Frimpong Boateng about. It's the same company.
Interesting.
You know?
Interesting.
Yes.
So the Attorney General did well then. If Attorney General is minister and he can deal with a company this way, when even Gabby's law firm is representing them. Why can't Frimpong Boateng also deal with the company the way he wants?
In the same way.
I completely hear you, and that's why I'm saying that. You see, the interministerial committee, when it was set up, one of the things that we raised as Media Coalition was that there were constitutionally mandated bodies who were supposed to do the work that they were supposed to be doing. Then you bring an interministerial committee that really lacks legal, basis, to then come and so this conflict was going to be, was bound to happen. And you see that being thrown, in the report. And the major foundational things that there is a cabinet directive, and people flout it, and nothing seemed to happen to it. So we really need to get to the bottom of this. And the fact that things have been done wrongly, without a doubt. The fact that people, there's political capture and there's political complicity involved in it, without a doubt. But where it is taking us to, we need to stop and say, and nobody can attempt to want to rubbish, Frimpong Boateng's report, as if the things he's saying, there's no truth in it. There's a lot of truth in it. But the only thing is that we need to take it through the rigor of a proper, I don't want to hear only just the politicians. Yes, we definitely need to see them on the table, but we need to get civil society, we need to get independent bodies also on board for this thing to be investigated. My appeal to the president is that if he's putting his presidency on the line, he should commission a committee made up of the two political parties. I don't mind them being involved, but other experts, other civil society organizations, the media, to be able to do a transparent, investigation in it. Like the way we did with the Truth Commission. The only thing we need to do, and the lawyers who understand it better, make it in such a way that the findings of this committee does not prevent us from taking these people on and taking them to court. But it is very important because as we speak now, the impunity is on the rise. The people have gone back. They are mining, by the roadsides. They are doing that. There's some reports that have been done on water bodies collected at the Ankobra. The level of heavy metal that's in it, mercury and all of that is in it, you will not believe it. And for me, I think that, and when you talk about the 6 million and all of that, $1 billion and all of that, it's a symptom of what we're doing to the illegal mining. And so for me, now that we are out there asking donor communities and all of that.
And at the time the illegal mining was banned, when I mentioned this, Joseph Abelkam was telling me about how at that time rather the exports, rose. It shot up.
Yeah. Yes. Because
he was
the thing is banned.
He was the chairman.
And Prof was the chairman.
The chairman.
The thing has been banned.
You see, we cannot, and Joseph, you cannot be blaming only Prof about this. It is the system that failed us. It's not only Prof. Because Prof was the chairman, but we are being told that not everybody in the committee were working. So this blame should not be as if it's only Prof. The system completely failed us. And we need to be treating it like that. And I can understand the fact that if you've been mentioned and you don't think, you need to defend yourself. But it's the same way all of us also need to defend our today and our tomorrow and say this thing cannot be continued.
What he says, just a few points for your confirmation, then we can close this on this. What he says about the military and how they were also abusing the system. From what you know, can you confirm that this is not somebody just telling us some stories that should not be believed?
Oh, well, that there were investigations that were even done about Operation Vanguard, and we should be careful. At what point, as Joseph was talking about the time where those incidents, where the military had been taken out of Operation Vanguard and was just the police. But there were investigations of incidents where part of Operation Vanguard themselves were accused of abusing their power, and some investigations were done. There were petitions that we made to the military high command and all of that, and all of those issues were not dealt properly. Okay. The challenge with dealing with this issue about the illegality is that we touch them and we don't finish it. Okay. So something, it is very important.
How about this one too? I have some military people who have supplied me documents. Some of it's, look, when you look at this thing, it's a joke that we are dealing with and claiming a fight. Now, when he says the greatest danger to the forest of Ghana was Sir John, from your experience, what can you say about that?
So the Forestry Commission were one of the people involved in this particular fight that were not playing ball. I remember, for example, when it came to heritage in Pia, for example, we petitioned the Forestry Commission, the EPA, the Minerals Commission, asking for information. We wrote several letters. The two of them gave us all the information we wanted. The Forestry Commission would just not budge. And definitely the Forestry Commission have a lot of questions to answer. And there's evidence about, for example, Sir John is not here, but he will, forest, to themselves. And they definitely, in this particular instance, situations where they were not supposed to be giving out leases, you'll find that the Forestry Commission would, when they ask for entry permits, they'll be giving them out. So those points that Prof mentioned definitely are things that have to be looked into, and we need to find out who did that. And these people, we need to ensure that the maximum punishment is exacted from them.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Ken Ashigbey.